Hello everybody. Okay, so this is like the official vlog, first vlog for Industrial Shenanigans. Basically what I'm covering today, see I've got notes so I don't forget, because you all know I have a shitty memory. First, sorry for the harsh lighting off to my left there. It's beautiful and sunny out, and so natural light, better than shitty fluorescence. Anyway, just looking over my list here. I don't know what to start with, but before I start anyway, we're officially accepted into Test Alliance Please Ignore, which obviously is a great name, and don't ignore them, because they're the second biggest alliance in EVE, and along with that alliance comes a variety of awesome bonuses. For one, we all are going to be moving to Nullsec, to the region Fountain, which is their base of operations in Nullsec. I believe I want to say it's in the north part of EU, but I don't remember. You have to look that up on Dotland. Um, what's it called? I'm gonna do a link dump underneath the video, so like links to like Dotland I just mentioned and stuff like that, just useful stuff. After I'm done the vid, um, so you're not like running around the internet trying to figure out where shit is, because I know you're all lazy and inept at using Google. I'm just kidding. But yeah, seriously, link dump. It's always a good thing to have. Um, anyway, this is water, not vodka. I'm not a drunkie like Greg is. um, fuck, I keep getting sidetracked. Okay, I guess for starters, I'll just talk about the PodMe Express. Um, hopefully, I'll put subtitles in post-processing, but no promises. Anyway, the PodMe Express is basically the quickest way to travel in EVE. It's like using a jump clone, except you don't need a jump clone. All you need is your medical clone. So basically what's going to happen is after we move all our shit down to nullsec, which I'll get to later, how we're moving that stuff down, you're going to update your medical clone, right? So you need to be in a station that has a medical facility. If you look on your here, this is gonna be all shaky and broken, but wait, bear with me. Just fuck it. The camera is attached to my laptop. It is my laptop effectively. So if you look at the station services there, see how there's like a medical thingy there? That's what I'm talking about. You need a station with one of those. So no other station will do. I don't know if that really even came up well, but it was at the bottom left of the station services. Anyway, let me try and put this laptop back down without it knocking everything over in the process. Sorry for motion sickness, but I'm sure you can deal with it. Just pretend you're warping somewhere and the fucking camera's shaking. Bloody hell. Okay, whatever. That's just gonna have to do. Sorry for the shitty angle. I'm not gonna bother. You guys don't care about that stuff anyway. Down back to the details. What is next? Oh, the PodMe Express, of course. Didn't really explain that. After you update your medical clone, once we're officially part of the Alliance, after I've applied to them and they've accepted in-game, at which point, our Alliance will show up and will be blue to them and all of their member corps. Also will be red to all the people that are war decking them right now, which is a lot of people because they're, like I said, the second biggest alliance in the game. So they're like permanently war decked at all times. That's why we have to move all our stuff to Jeddah now before we are accepted to the alliance, because if we were to join right now, which we could, and not move all our stuff, trying to move our stuff to Jeddah, and even just being in Jeddah, would just be really hazardous to everybody's health, and it would just be a waste of resources and all that, because there'd just be red people all over the place with kill rights on you, and they'd kill you. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? You don't want to die, so we won't apply right off the bat. Anyway, the Pod Me Express, like I'm trying to get to, is after you've updated your medical clone. What I mean by updating your medical clone, if you're unaware, is just make sure that your medical clone it has more skill points in it than you currently have. So, like for example, Norik has like 12 million skill points, and his jump clone has 15 mil. So, if I if I get potted, which is actually part of the Pod Me Express, um, I will wake up in my medical clone, wherever it happens to be. So after we're accepted into the alliance, after all our stuff is in Jeddah, ready to be moved and all that stuff, um, what you'll do is you'll move your medical clone down to their home system, which I'll post in the link dump. Um, and what you do then essentially is self-destruct your capsule. That's all there is to it. You blow yourself up, or get someone else to blow you up if you really want to, but that's silly because it gives people kills. If you just self-destruct, it's just a loss that doesn't really show up, which I'm sure they prefer as a big alliance. So just self-destruct your pod. If you have implants, I understand that sucks, especially if if you don't have access to a jump clone. If you want to try and fly down there, you're more than welcome to try. But all the low sec entrances into their null sec region are heavily gate camped, like heavily gate camped. So the likelihood of you making it past them, even in a covert ops frigate, is pretty slim. And that's not my personal opinion, that's the recruiter that I was speaking to's opinion. And he's speaking from personal experience, so I'm inclined to believe what he said, and I think you all should as well. Alright, so that's the Pod Me Express route down to nullsec. Also, I just want to state that Norik has over 200 million in implants, and Aiden has about, I don't know, 150 or so. Now, I'm cheating because I have jump clones, so I'll just jump into empty clones and then pod myself, but, you know, just suck it up. We'll be able to make enough ISK down there to replace your implants easy peasy, so no complaining. I don't want to hear bitching about, oh, I'm going to lose my implants. Durden, I'm talking to you. Yeah, name drop, yep. Anyway, moving on. Fuck. Okay, so I talked about the permanent war decking. The application details I sort of covered, just like once we apply, as I mentioned, all the people that are war decking test alliance. Once we're a part of the alliance, obviously, then we're war decked too, right? So any travel in high sec is going to be highly hazardous to your health. There'll be reds potentially in every system, just because, like I said, test is so large. There are so many mercenary corporations. Fucking brain fart. Mercenary corporations war decking them at the moment. So at any time, whatever system you're in, there could be dozens of red, flashy enemies on your overview should you jump to a Stargate, and they have kill rates on you. And well, you have kill rates on them too. So if you want some easy roaming, I'm sure you could go up into high sec, but you're not going to need to do that once we get down there. There's going to be plenty of shit to shoot at. One of the application sort of agreement sort of between me and the recruiter is that a lot of us are industrial, but a lot of us are also PvP, and Test does not believe in any mandatory operations, PvP or otherwise, which is good, because neither do I. I don't like telling you guys how to play the game, as you well know, I hope by now. And neither do they, so that's why it's such a great fit for us, obviously. And so, as an industrial background corp, we'll be producing battleships for them, because they use a fuck ton of battleships for their alpha fleets. Alpha fleets are like massive fleets of battleships with super high DPS and nothing else for killing player-owned structures and titans and all manner of large enemies. So basically we'll be producing in the background, as part of our main focus, a shit ton of battleships. Primarily, he said maelstroms and scorpions, I think he said. So maelstrom is Minmatar, and Scorpion is Caldari. Um, Additionally, for those of you who aren't industrial, don't worry about that. That's totally cool. There's definitely a place for you down there too. If you want to blow stuff up, Test is really the best place to be, next to the goons. And speaking of the goons, Test is like best fucking buddies, fucking in love with the goons. The goons love Test, the Test love goons. So we have the biggest alliance in Eve, over 6,000 members strong, the goons, at our backs. So living in their region of space, their home region, is going to be safer, effectively, than living anywhere in HiSec. And that's like war decks notwithstanding. Like even like right now, we're living in Jacanurva. We have no war decks, no enemies to speak of. We're not nearly as safe as we will be once we get down to nullsec, because we'll be surrounded on all sides in every system around us by blue players. What that means, it'll be like corporations that are part of the alliance, or corporations that aren't directly in the alliance but are set to blue as like good standings or excellent standings with the alliance. So they're good guys. You know they're good guys. You know they're not going to shoot at you, so you don't have to be paranoid all the time. When I first moved back up to HiSec from Null, it was paranoia fucking everywhere. So it'll be great to get back down there. Okay, list again here. Okay, so producing battleships is going to be our main focus, just to begin, right? And that's as a whole corp. I'm not talking like individuals need to be doing that. So I don't expect you to dedicate your personal resources toward this, but I will be hosting a few corp mining ops, wherein all the ore that we harvest that day, like 100% of it, will go to the corp. However, to make up for that, I'll also be taking you guys out nullsec ratting, and that's another thing I wanted to cover here. Nullsec ratting is basically like running missions without the agent, so no running back and forth to agents, which is retarded, and I fucking hate that. I think you all hate that. It's a pain in the ass. You can rat in HiSec as well. If you use your ship scanner, you can scan out cosmic anomalies, and that's what a rat site is. Also, you can use regular scanner probes to scan out DED complexes and other more advanced rat sites. And you can do that in HiSec, but the ones you encounter won't be very difficult. It's going to be like all frigates and cruisers, and none of them will be worth over like a few hundred thousand ISK. Whereas in nullsec, as you can imagine, it's quite the opposite. We'll be facing, just for an example, in a Serpentis Haven, I think they're called, or Serpentis Sanctuary, something like that. You'll be up against about a couple of dozen frigates, destroyers, cruisers, battleships, and all the battleships, their bounties are like 800k plus. So every battleship you kill, you'll get 800k for, or more, like depending on what their bounties are. So basically what I'm getting at is, if we run rat sites together as a corp and just rip through all of them, we could make easily 100 mil each in a few hours time, as long as we work together and rip through them quickly. So there is a lot of ISK to be made in nullsec. There are several ways to make a lot of ISK in nullsec, so that's not the only way. If you're not good at shooting things, if you want to play the market, that's a great way to make ISK down there, because the market in nullsec tends to be a little iffy at times. Although my recruiter said that oh fuck, I need water, sorry. My recruiter said that the market down there is actually pretty good. They have jump freighter runs to and from HiSec every day. Sorry, voice crack. Every day, replenishing the market. So he said most common items, it's very rare for them to be out of stock, with the exception of some T2 items, depending on like what they are. If they're not quite as common, I guess. Some of them may be difficult to come by, but for the most part, the market should rival JITA in most cases. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, Here's the fun part that I've been waiting to tell you all about. The burning of Jeddah, or Jeddah. The burning of Jeddah. What that is, sometime later this month. I don't know officially yet, because until we're part of the Alliance, he didn't want to disclose like fleet mobility and shit like that for operational security for the Alliance. But basically what it is, the way he described it to me, is that Test Alliance, the Goons, Pandemic Legion, and a couple of other the really big alliances are gonna hell camp in Jeddah, and that's not just like a regular like a gate camp or whatever. It's camping like every fucking major celestial object, I imagine, in Jeddah, and just killing anything that moves that isn't on our side, that isn't blue to us. If it moves, shoot it. So it's like free fire. And we'll probably be getting Synoed up to high sec, so you don't have to like travel from nullsec all the way up to high sec by yourself as a fleet. We'll likely get a Titan bridge, which basically what that means is you use a Titan as a Stargate, sort of, and the Titan locks onto a Sino that someone pops in low sec that's really close to high sec, and the Titan activates, and you jump through the Titan to that Sino-Cyril field, and it's quite cool actually. I've done it a couple of times. It's also, you know, just awesome to fly near a Titan, let alone with a Titan. So I imagine there'll be capital ships as well, but of course capital ships can't come into high sec, so that they won't be a part of the Jeddah, burning Jeddah thing. But joining Test and flying with Goons means that you all will be seeing carriers, super carriers, dreadnoughts, Titans on a regular basis. You may actually rat with carriers and super carriers depending on what the guys down there are like, dreadnoughts. It's going to be exciting, in short. Like, it's so amazing, so exhilarating to fly with capital ships for the first time, especially in a PvP environment when you're shooting at other people alongside capital ships. And carriers and super carriers will launch their fighters, which are like giant drones. They're actually NPC piloted ships, so they're like little frigates that you control in your carrier. And it's like, if you zoom in on the like model of the fighter, you can see a little NPC dude sitting in the cockpit, which is pretty cool. If you want to kind of see what I'm talking about, you can go into the market and under drones, look at fighters and fighter bombers, and just, you know, you can see the models for yourself, so you know I'm not full of shit, unless they changed that, but I don't think they did. So anyway, capital ships, all that fun. Exciting. If you're not excited, then you're retarded, and I don't want you in my corp. I think that about sums it up. We're coming up on 20 minutes now, so I hope this has at least been, well, I know it's been informative, and I know it's a little easier than reading for some of you, although most of you seem quite literate, which I'm proud of. I don't like illiterate people. I'm going to come out and say it. People who can't read or refuse to read, I just think they're lazy bastards. I need to, you know, not be lazy bastards. Being lazy for some things is great, but not reading, especially not reading my beautiful court mails, that hurts me deep inside. It crushes my hopes and dreams. So don't do it. That is to say, don't not read my mails. So do read my mails. Double negative. Ugh. Anyway, I believe that is all. For those of you who have a YouTube account, I welcome video comments and all that stuff. I actually encourage it if you're willing to show your face. If you want to wear a mask or something, you're not comfortable showing your face, that's your prerogative. I don't care. You know, if that's the only way you're going to do a video thing, then by all means do it. You know, audio questions only. Like, if you don't have a camera and you can only record audio, same thing, go for it. Comments, of course, on the video on YouTube. Obviously, it's an open forum. An open door policy, let's call it. I want to hear everything that you guys have to say. So criticisms, comments, cautious thoughts, all that stuff. Except I don't want to hear Are you sure it's not a scam? Blah, 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 blah. I'm not a fucking retard, guys. You know that, okay? It bothers me that you're all. I understand that you're cautious, and that's a good thing, but I got asked by, like, just about all of you last night if I was sure it wasn't a scam. You know how I'm sure it wasn't a scam? Because I talked to the guy for 3 hours last night, and not small talk. I'll probably be forwarding the chat log to everybody sometime today, so you'll be able to see for yourself that I'm not full of shit, and neither is he. You don't put that time and effort into a scam, and our corp is so small right now. We have no assets that are worth scamming, except our blueprints, and even that isn't worth it to an alliance of that magnitude. So don't worry about it. I've got that handled. I'm the corp diplomat and always will be, because I'm a control freak that way. And you all know I'm a charismatic, talkative, whatever person. So that's just what I do. Anyway, I think that about wraps it up. So we're coming up on 22 minutes. I'm not going to bother editing. I tried to stay brief and to the point. You can just whatever. You get to this point, then you've realized that I haven't edited it, so why I'm saying this is pointless. So whatever. Anyway, that I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Lots of notes. Okay, I'm just gonna do a couple quick little things that people were bugging me about. Turret tracking. If you're using turrets, like a large turret, for example, like a large hybrid turret on a battleship or a tier 3 battlecruiser, not T3 tier battlecruiser like the Naga or the Tornado. Turret tracking, what that means is the ability for your turret to track literally targets, right? So if it's a frigate that you're locking onto with a large turret, your turret physically cannot turn fast enough to track that really fast frigate that's orbiting you, right? So if you're getting really shitty hits with your large turrets on a frigate, like you can't kill a frigate in a battleship, that's why. And it'll always be like that unless you equip an obscene amount of tracking mods. But the best way to deal with frigates in a big ship is drones. So if you don't have drones to 5, do it now. It's a 4-day training thing, but it's so worth it. I couldn't even possibly explain to you in another 30-minute video how worthwhile drones are. I have about 1 million skill points in drones right now in Nork, and it's still not enough. And for those of you who are dreaming of being in a carrier someday, drones are mandatory. You can't even fly a carrier without high drone skills, so just keep that in mind. So basically the Naga and the Tornado and the tier 3, they're shit. I'm just gonna say it. And that's my opinion and just my personal experience. They're shit. They're not for mission running. They're not, you know, they're pretty, whatever, I get that, but they're not for mission running. So for those of you running a Naga or whatever, you know who you are. I'm not calling you out and calling you asses, but I'm just letting you know that they're a waste of money and minerals unless you're going to gank someone or provide heavy DPS in a PvP fleet. Oh, the fleet. Some of you don't know. I don't know. I try to keep a fleet going at all times when I'm online. When I'm not online, if there's no fleet online, please make one. And what you do is you go into your fleet window, you hit the E on the top of your Neocom, right? You go to social, go to fleet, it'll open the fleet window. You right click at the very top left of the fleet window where the 4 white lines are, create right click form fleet, and then it'll just create a fleet for you. And then once that happens, go to Fleet Finder, the Fleet Finder tab inside the fleet window, and go to my advert, create advert, whatever the UI is. When you create the advert, all you do is I.S. Fleet, so industrial shenanigans fleet. Keep it simple. I don't want you guys making your own names for it, just because it's a corp fleet, not your fleet. And then make it only accessible to corp members. There's a checkbox, and at the bottom, hide details. although the high details one is not really mandatory for the most part. But what the advert does is when people log on, all you have to do is open your Fleet window, and if there's an advert up, it'll be right there. You just right-click join, done. No fucking invites, no, you know, because you guys log on, you're like, can I have a Fleet invite? No, 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 no. You can't do that on nullsec. If you do that on nullsec, people will yell at you. So I'm just letting you know beforehand, okay? Because I don't want you guys to get yelled at like crazy. I'm going to try and make the transition into null living easier for you guys based on like doing these videos and stuff like that. I'll also put some links in the link dump with tutorials and things that you can read. But anyway, I've gone on for too long. It's 26 minutes or so, so I think that's it for now. So just reiterating, comments, criticisms, all that shit, put them in the comments down below, comment section thingy, and or make a video comment, whatever. That'd be actually really cool if you could. And that's about it. So coming up on 26 minutes, a little over 26 minutes. So that's it. Cheers, and I'll see you in Jeddah today. Don't forget to read your mails. And watch this twice, probably. That'd be good. If you watch it twice, I'd be really happy. I'm not going to blame you if you don't, though. Sorry for the frame rate issues. It's a fucking laptop webcam. Cut me a break. I hope this sounds okay, too, because I don't want to have to redo it. You noticed that my mic, you may have noticed in the other video. It's just fucked. Structurally. Electronically, it works fine. It sounds great, like the speakers and all that. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Sorry. I'm just gonna cut myself off before I keep jibber-jabbering. Bye-bye.